Really exciting. Obviously it's going to be a great atmosphere for our players, but also our fans. I know me, including everybody else in our organization, is really excited to see our fans come out in full support. I mean, obviously having College Game Day here is going to be a great event. Getting the opportunity to go against a top 10 team and a really, worthy opponent is going to be a fun challenge for us and our players. Talked to our guys really early on today that all this is here because of the work they've done. Right, and that's why this is sitting in front of them. But really, all this outside has nothing to do with what has to be done on the field. And I think our guys realize that and are excited about the opportunity. But definitely excited to see our fans show up early and stay throughout the entire game, stay late, and enjoy the entire event of Saturday, and go play this game.
Start with Eric on the left.
Coming off a bye week, I know you talked a lot about personal growth, individual growth, team growth. How did you guys fare in that regard?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. Really each day we had some, individual improvement plans that each one of our guys attacked. Got some great recovery and some great work in throughout the process as well. Had some really productive practices. Been around a lot of teams during bye week, and not every team gets better during bye week. I thought our team got better.
James, front left.
How did you feel Christian had the ability to handle the size of T-Mac and how that might translate to Bobo since they're both 6'5", bigger receivers?
Yeah, each team's different. Certainly I thought he did, well at times and could have done better at times as well. But I don't know that those two teams are the same. I think that's a different comparison.
All right, Zach.
I know when you took the job here, you kind of did a lot of homework and talked to former players and coaches. Did you reach out to Chip Kelly at all?
I've talked to Coach a few times at Pac-12 events, but I didn't talk to him, before getting there.
Back right, Matt.
Can you just explain the value of a fifth-year quarterback, 5 years of starting? It's pretty unique because of the COVID year, just the growth you've seen from DTR in his fifth year.
Yeah, obviously he's really familiar with their system. He's completing the ball at a really high rate right now. He's operating their offense. Obviously, he's a weapon with his legs. He understands what they're trying to accomplish. I think it's a lot of the same things you see right now with our quarterback, right? Understanding what is supposed to be accomplished on the field and executing it at a high level. And he's certainly doing that. He's a dynamic player, and anytime he touches the ball, it can turn into an explosive play. So that's showing up for them.
And in front,
Coach, you've coached a lot of games where some of the coaches have experience with the other ones, like Coach Smart and Coach Saban. With Coach Kelly's just knowledge of Eugene, the history of this place, just the culture, how does that help factor into coaching, or what kind of does that help to change the dynamic of the game a little bit?
The environment, the noise, the fans, all those pieces are great elements, but they're not. None of those things are playing the game. So none of that's really going to have a factor. Obviously, playing here before that can be a factor in this game. He's got great experience in this place. I'm sure he has some fond memories in this place, but none of that's really going to carry into what actually has to happen from an execution standpoint on the field.
back left, Trevor.
Offensively, you and UCLA have pretty much identical ratios of run to pass when it comes to play calling. Do you see a lot of similarities between these two offensive philosophies? And if so, how would that help you game plan for them?
Well, I think it's good to go against a great offense every day in practice. Obviously, this is a great offense, and sometimes you speak about great offenses nowadays. They don't run the ball. This is a team that runs the ball. They run the ball really well. They'll scheme runs, right, where they'll gain extra hats based off pullers and leverage and numbers counts. That's something they do a good job of, and it's not just fast to go fast. They mix in the tempo, so certainly helps us going against that each day. Against our offense, but it's not necessarily the same. There's some slight differences.
Second row, middle row.
What have been the keys for your defense defending the run? You've had success there, and then are there ways, maybe you just enunciated them, but are there ways this team's going to strain you in ways that you haven't seen as much before?
Yeah, just the element of the quarterback run game, I think, is a big piece in this game that we'll see, a little bit more. You always have to have a hat accounted for. Him in this. Our defense has done a good job at times with the run. We need to do better at times with the pass, obviously. But ultimately, it's about preventing explosive plays. You pull up the explosive plays given up this year and created this year. What's unique is both UCLA and us are, I think, at a plus 31 ratio, right, when it comes to explosive plays. And that's a really big indicator of wins and losses. But you look at the top of our conference, I think maybe Washington's the only team that has more explosive plays created than UCLA and Oregon. So when you look at those given up and those created, that's a really big factor in this game. I think the team that walks away with giving up less of explosive plays and creating more is going to have a great advantage.
Second row left, Eric. Again.
You mentioned this a moment ago, but the quarterback run part, I think, is maybe different than some of the teams you face. Where does that put pressure on a defense? Like, which players does that kind of impact the most for you guys?
You think about an offense in a lot of ways. I mean, generally you're defending 10 people because one person has to distribute the ball, right? When you run the quarterback, you have to use all 11, right? Which means you have to use all 11 on defense. You might not be able to have a safety in the middle of the field, right? Because the quarterback has the ability to run. So ultimately, like I said, it just means everybody has to be accounted for. You might have to gain an extra hat here or there because of it, and they do a great job of that. And the minute you play too aggressive to that, they're going to challenge your eye discipline and run somebody down the middle of the field. So it's about each guy doing their job, being accountable for their job.
James.
You mentioned the pass defense, and particularly on third down, when that's been an issue for you guys, and they are obviously one of the best third down offenses in the country. Is there, beyond obviously doing better, but is there a particular goal you're shooting for, number you shoot for, not just this week, in general, to get back to the numbers and the stats that you would like to have, the level of success you'd like to have on third down defense?
Yeah, we have a goal every week. You know, our goal each week is 70% of the time we want to be off the field on third down. We haven't reached that goal. It's not about getting our stats back into a certain position for us. That's not really what we're hung on. We want to win the game, right? But to play winning football, we feel like that's getting off the field 70% of the time.
Second row right, Jerry.
After 6 games, I assume you had a lot of guys playing a little dinged up. How did this week help that, and particularly Byron Cardwell? How's he doing?
Yeah, you know, definitely it's a benefit for us to have some opportunities to get guys back and get guys healthy. You know, Byron's a guy that's, you know, has worked extremely hard, and at some point it's about him feeling comfortable with himself, being able to step back out there on the field. You know, we support him in every way from a medical standpoint, and our coaching staff. He's a great kid. He does, you know, everything the right way, and once he feels like he can get out there and compete for us, we welcome him out there to be able to see him on the field for us.
Back front middle again.
Coach, you guys have played a lot of really mobile, versatile quarterbacks so far this year. What specific challenges does a quarterback like DTR kind of present to your defense, and how prepared do you think your defense is with the quarterbacks you guys have played so far to play someone like DTR?
Yeah, we really haven't played anybody quite like him, in my opinion. You know, he runs like a back or a wideout with the ball. So, like I said, he can stop and go. He's got great acceleration and speed, and does a good job with the ball in his hands. And they also, for a team that runs the quarterback as much as they do, they take care of the ball, right? So we do have to do a good job of attacking it when we get the opportunity and making sure that we're in position to tackle him.
Back left, Trevor.
4 of Jake Bobo's 5 touchdowns have come in the red zone. What makes him so dangerous in that part of the field?
Big target, right? He's a big target, does a good job of positioning himself well, you know, and I think there's obviously a trust and familiarity with him right now. They're playing at a high level as far as connecting, right? They're completing a lot of passes, and we know where the ball is going to be at, and this guy's a big catch radius. It certainly helps.
Back right, Matt.
Latu at linebacker is second in the conference in sacks, I think near the top for the league, and tackles for loss. Just what's made him so effective, and just your thoughts on that challenge of knowing where he's at every time on the field?
Yeah, I think we just have to have a great awareness for really that entire front, and the guys that play in the front 7. You know, they do a good job of pitching a lot of different looks at you. You know, you see a variety of coverages and a variety of pressures that they'll run. So just having an awareness of him is, like you said, is the biggest thing, is knowing where he's at all times and being able to account for him.
On the left, Eric.
Is there any benefit with Chase having played at UCLA? Do you pick his brain at all? Is that something that doesn't take place for you guys with a guy who transferred from school so recently?
Yeah, you certainly can look to visit, you know, with Chase and bounce some thoughts and ideas off of him. He can share some common knowledge, but ultimately there's certain things that have changed probably since he's been there, just like there's things that are different for us.
James.
During the week of self-scout and self-assessment in particular, when you go all the way back to last January, and Kenny was talking about being a pro-style offense that plays fast, shooting for 80 plays a game, and that would be very high. If not for fourth quarter blowouts, you guys could be very close to 80 plays per game, and you're averaging 7 yards a play offensively, which is pretty much in that elite class. How is it that you've been able to achieve it so far, and how do you keep it on track against, you know, some of the better defense you'll be playing here going forward?
Yeah, it's keep the main thing the main thing. The prep's the exact same each week. You know, you look to evaluate what you're doing really well and what you can improve on, and then what stresses the other team that you're about to play. And I think our offensive staff's done a really good job of finding the elements that fit Our goal has never been just about how many plays we can run. It's about how many points we can score and how many games we can win, right? And starting with games we can win. So it's always a benefit when you can change the tempo. I think that makes it tough on a defense, and our offense has done a good job of being able to change that up.
On the right, second row, Jerry.
Yeah, how much extra attention have you given to Ty and Jay as Ty's coming to the game? I mean, I keep hearing people are not too confident. I mean, that's fans, but that's the general impression. And has there been a little extra work there?
We're not really concerned with other people's opinions. Those guys work really hard in practice every day, and that's what we just spent bye week doing, was prepping and getting every one of our guys better. And every guy on our team has a role and an opportunity to get better. So I don't listen to what other people think.
Back right, Matt.
Game day here. There's a lot of attention. Top 10 matchup doesn't happen very often. Just how do you keep this team grounded, not to get too excited about the moment at hand, and think big picture and just focus on the game itself?
Yeah, it's no different than when I was a high school coach and we talked about homecoming, right? It's just another thing to everybody else. But the reality is there's a game to be played, and they're here to watch the game, right? And the things we can control are on those 53 and a third field, that 120-yard field, right? All those things, that's where that game has to be played. And it's there because of an environment that we've created. It's there because of the way we've played to this point, right? But that's all it is. It's about how you've done, right? It has nothing to do with the outside noise. So we'll do a great job. Our guys understand that. Put it in, a frame of reference. Obviously, this game's fun for a lot of reasons. We get to go out there and fight for a great cause as well with the breast cancer awareness jerseys, and there's so many other elements. But the reality is we have a game to play, and that's what our guys are focused on.
Back to Rob.
You guys are so routine oriented. I mean, just what was it like to have that broken up, for a couple of days, spend a little more time apart than you're used to, but then to get back together in the last, 24 hours, whatever it was, and kind of get back into that grind?
Yeah, I think it was needed. I think, our bye week fell at a perfect time, for our guys. We did a good job of being able to stay in rhythm throughout that bye week and keep the timings that we've developed on, both sides of the ball. But at the same time, it's needed. That rest and recovery is needed. And I think our guys enjoyed it.
Back on the left, Eric.
Is there an update on Brian Addison or Stephen Jones?
Yeah, Steven's still working through some things, doing more today than he has. I think Brian will be available and ready to roll.
Front row, James.
Talked a lot about DTR's legs, and obviously Bobo is a target. He has been unbelievably accurate on first down, and they've been really efficient and productive on first down, and P10 in particular. What is it that makes that the challenge, Dan? I mean, what you're seeing is a lot of free access stuff. What is it that they're utilizing to have, I think, north of 80% completions on first down?
Yeah, he does a great job of just that. When they run the ball so well, people are going to load the box, and it's going to tend to leave some more free access opportunities outside. They do a good job in the screen game, but he's connected on some longer shots downfield the last couple games as well. So he's just in sync. He's playing at a really high level right now because he's in sync. He knows where to go with the ball, and doesn't put it in bad spots.
Back right, Matt.
Middle eight. What's made you guys so good there? And do you feel like over the course of 6 games, that's just really kind of been a moment where you've maybe put yourself in a good position to win the game? It feels like every game you're good there.
I know we coach it hard, but it's some things falling into place for us, right? Part of it's, when you defer and you hope you get the ball at half, that doesn't always happen, but we've had some success that playing out, for us, either us deferring and getting the ball or the other team electing to receive in the first half has given us the chance to get it in the second half, and then playing sound at the end. I mean, getting a chance to watch some of these games this past weekend, how you play at the end of halves is so critical, right? The way you manage time is so critical, and we spend a lot of time on it, trying to make sure we're right, and we're not always right. But that's something that we've done well and want to continue to do well this year.
James.
A fun one for you, because you talk about the other things outside that are other things. Something today that is not just another thing for you. Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
What goes into...
How'd you know that? Did my wife post something?
Come on.
I didn't post anything. I should.
I wrote-
Happy anniversary to me and my wife. We got married October 17th. That's right.
What goes into...
13. This is number 13. That's a lucky number, right?
I was about to ask, yes.
Moonstones
Yes.
is what I've heard. Moonstones. So, yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Fall wedding?
Yeah.
Wait.
Off the record. Yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah.